Here we've got Tony Farnworth demonstrating a pretty good line drill from a technique standpoint. We'll play it all the way through and then we'll break down some of the smaller parts after that. One thing you'll notice is that she approaches each turn, she's really preparing to run back the other way, so she'll find the angle that she wants, so that as she drives those knees up and pushes back, her shoulders are already leaning where she wants to go and she can get that momentum. She doesn't take a ton of steps to slow down. It's the last couple where she really drops her center of gravity and puts the brakes on before bouncing off the line, running back hard the other direction. If we have a look at this starting point, knees coming up, pushing out, she's only got a few steps to really accelerate, but she makes the most of them. So there's 1, 2, and 3, and now she's starting to think about that turn, dropping her center of gravity, throwing her shoulders back where she wants them, and then she's really reaching out. So if you pause there, you've got a nice long line between the foot through to the shoulders. As she takes off from that, she's pushing back. We've got a really good angle here out of that knee, and that's what we're looking for. So when we talk about the shin angle, it's that kind of angle that we're trying to get. You'll notice a slower player, very often they might be a little bit more tall, and their foot just starts to creep further and further forwards, and the further that foot comes forwards, they have to start to drag themselves through, and rather than pushing themselves forwards, driving that leg back and using their center of gravity falling forwards and momentum, they have to, every time they stop and turn, it costs them a lot more energy to pull themselves through. Same thing here, leaning into it. Look at that angle. In Tony's case, she's actually touching the ground. She's got long arms and she really exaggerates it, so you don't necessarily need that. But if you're finding yourself being too tall, as far as a training tool, that's one really good way to make sure you're getting down nice and low. Again, she's approaching the line here, starts to drop her center of gravity, leans back this direction. That's the last step. This is the key. As she steps forwards with that right foot, she really puts the brakes on. She's heavy on the right foot, and then that means that left foot, there's not a ton of weight being shifted onto that. It's more like a tap and go. You think, put the brakes on with the right, you just tap on the left, shift your weight back to the right, and then she's pushing off. What you also see is a lot of players are too tall, and that means their shoulders would move to the left. They're too tall, so they go that way, and they put a lot more weight on that left foot, and they have to bounce into it and then push off, and it's a lot slower. Whereas Tony does a really good job, heavy on the right foot, tap on the left, push the weight back to the right, now she's accelerating. So it's brake, tap, go. And now, so those first few steps, she's starting to fatigue a little bit here, and as you can see, that first step, not too bad. Ideally that angle there from that left knee would be fantastic. This right foot starts to creep out more so than what it does when she's more fresh. And see that knee angle opening up, if she was to push back from that sort of an angle, she'd be a little bit more efficient on this. Again, as she runs this out, puts the brakes on with the left, tap the line, and pushing back off the left, and she's taking out of it. Puts the brakes on, tap, go. So there's not a lot of time. If you would imagine almost having a stopwatch, and as she touches the line, you start timing it, she gets off that line very, very quickly. You don't want to be spending much time on that line on the turn.